the a-hole for giving my mother an ultimatum to choose which child she wants to live with her? I moved in with my mom after she got sick to help her. 3 months later, she told me my brother was moving in to help too. I was less than enthusiastic, as my brother is always bullied and taken advantage of me, and my mom's enablement of that sours our relationship. I was basically treated like I was a bad person for not believing my brother has magically became a different person in adulthood. My mom decided to compromise, was to have him sign an agreement of his duties and our expectations for the shared living space, as well as what we all would be contributing to the household finances. I'm not trying to turn this into a pity party, but essentially, he has not lived up to a single item once. He has never taken out the trash. It's always later. They joke about it. He makes my life here miserable and filthy. He's always introducing drama and problems that beggar belief. Well, I found out my mom has needed my financial help more lately because he hasn't contributed a single dollar toward food or utilities while driving both up. And she's been trying to cover up for him. So I'm subsidizing him, treating me like a house elf, and he won't help me with her appointments or clean up after himself, let alone contribute to chores. We had a fight this morning because he left wet clothes in the washer, so I had to move them to the dryer, like always, to wash my mom's sheets, and then I had to move them out of the dryer because he wouldn't come down to get them. He was upset I left them dumped back in his laundry basket, and said I should have folded them so they won't wrinkle. He never folds his clothes, they're always wrinkled. He was demanding I iron his clothes, and my mom was trying to say she would do it for him, and I just lost it. But it was more like the straw that broke my back while they're trying to focus on it as a single overreaction. I've never hated anyone more in my life. He's the crappiest person I've ever known. So I told her it's him or me, that I'm moving out ASAP if she doesn't give him a deadline to move out. I said I'd still go to her appointments and stuff like that, but I won't live with her. My mom is hysterically upset and saying that he can't take care of her if she's sick at night, and she doesn't understand how I can be so cruel to ask her to choose between her children. But I feel like she already did a long time ago. I feel guilty to put her through this, but I also feel like this is not my fault, and I have to maintain my own sanity. I feel like crap, but I don't know what else to do. I clean the house only to wake up to it trashed every morning, and lately I've been wishing I wouldn't wake up. Am I the a-hole for posting about my 29 female engagement and pregnancy on Facebook, despite knowing that my ex 32 male is struggling with infertility? Hi all. I've kind of accepted that I might be the a-hole here, but my fiance says I'm not. I wanted a second opinion. For context, my ex Kevin 32 male and I have a child together that I put up for adoption when I was 22. I did it largely because I didn't want to have a child with Kevin. He had a really bad temper, he was pretty irresponsible, and neither of us had steady jobs at a time. I supported us through freelance writing, but being pregnant meant that I didn't get many of the jobs I had before. I knew that neither of us would be good parents, and that relinquishment was the right choice. But if he had told me he wanted to keep the child, I wouldn't have fought him on that. When the time came, he signed the relinquishment papers without argument. Our daughter is now 7, and she seems very happy with her adoptive parents. So while the situation does still cost me pain every once in a while, I can't complain about the outcome. Kevin and I eventually broke up when he cheated on me with his current wife, Stacy, 25 female. I wasn't that torn up about it because we were honestly only staying together because of the trauma we both shared. I have since found stable work as a software engineer and recently bought a house with the extra money. My fiancé Lex, 34 male, knew this about me from the first time we met. Thankfully, it wasn't a deal breaker for him. We started dating when I was 27, I'm 29 now, and he proposed about a month ago. I accepted. Then we found out I was 3 months pregnant about a week after he proposed, which was a shock to both of us because I'm on long-term birth control. Despite the circumstances, we're overjoyed and have decided to keep the baby. Since we already passed the first trimester before we discovered I was pregnant, we decided to announce the engagement and the pregnancy at the same time. My ex flipped out. He got my number from my mom and started blowing up my phone. He told me that I forced him to put our child up for adoption. I didn't. And that I don't deserve to have a child now, knowing that I abandoned our firstborn. I blocked him, he bought burner phones. Then his wife started getting in on it, vacillating between crying and screaming at a voicemail she sent. It got so bad I had to change my number. Lex is telling me that all of this is bananas, and that if Kevin was really ready to become a parent, he would have put his foot down when the time came. My mother, on the other hand, says that I should be more compassionate towards them. A part of me doesn't want to be compassionate towards either of them. As selfish as this seems, I feel like I was the one who primarily struggled with the adoption, but like Kevin didn't support me at all through the entire event. I also have to admit I knew about their infertility struggles and didn't care. Am I the a-hole here, guys? I don't think any of this would have happened if I didn't announce it on Facebook. Am I the a-hole for refusing to babysit for my sister and leaving her without anyone to watch her kids? I'm 18 female, still in high school, pertinent to the story, paralyzed, also pertinent. My mom is 45, my sister is 28 and has 3 boys ages 10, 6, and 3. 4 years ago, I was in a car accident and came out paralyzed from the waist down. It has been hell having to learn a new way of life, but I haven't let that stop me. I'm going to college out of state next year, and graduating in the top 10% in my school if things continue as they are. The one major thing that is a complete bummer out of all of this, other than the obvious, is that my mom thinks that I am now a free babysitter for whenever one of my older brother or sister needs one. She never consults me on these, and expects me to drop plans at the drop of a hat. This past Monday, I told my parents about a Christmas movie extravaganza sleepover my friend has been planning. It's gonna be 3 girls, and we were planning on making brownies, cookies, watching really cheesy Christmas-themed romantic movies, and just girl stuff. It wasn't Saturday, yesterday, and my parents said they had no problem with it. Yesterday arrived and I'm just about to roll out, when my mom comes and says my sister is on her way with her 3 boys. Apparently she asked mom if I could babysit the other day and she said yes. Didn't even bother telling me about it. I said hell no, because I already have plans. We fought and mom ended up storming off because this one time I wasn't backing down. I took the time and left, turning my phone off when I got into my friend's car. Today when I got home, I got called an immature a-hole basically. My sister was left without anyone to watch the kids during her husband's work Christmas party. But I went back on my word that I didn't make. Mom told me that I should be grateful she gives me something to look forward to, babysitting, because I have no real social life being paralyzed. I just went to my room and cried. But now I'm wondering, am I the a-hole like they say I am because I refused to babysit and then left my sister in the lurch? Am I the a-hole for arranging for my wife's parents to spend Christmas celebration with us without telling her? I, male 27, have been married to my wife, female 26, for 2 years, and we're expecting a baby boy together. My wife has been in contact with her parents because of issues that occurred between them during her teenage years. She said it was because of the way they treated her late boyfriend and their 7-year-old son. She stopped seeing them after she moved out with my stepson, but she went back to introduce me, and things were fine till a little before we got married. My wife went no contact after she claimed my mother-in-law stole all her wedding jewelry and sold it. Now, I'm not sure if that was accurate or just an excuse my wife used to get me to stop asking. A few months ago, my mother-in-law as well as other family members reached out to me and we had conversations, without my wife, about how innocent my mother-in-law was. It was falsely accused by my wife to get back at her for past issues. I really felt she was sincere, especially after she said she wished my wife would give her another chance. I had an idea, which was that I invite my in-laws over to celebrate Christmas with me and my wife, and hopefully talk things out once and for all. I didn't tell my wife because I didn't want her stressing over the gathering. But days ago, I came home and she began yelling at me asking what I was thinking to invite her boys and enemies to our Christmas celebration. I tried to explain that her parents are very sincere in wanting to start new with a baby coming, but she yelled that they didn't even treat my stepson or his father well. I don't deserve to be near the kids and said I needed to cancel immediately. I suggested she calm down first and we'll talk. But she refused and packed her stuff and went to stay with a friend, repeatedly saying I disrespected her and ignored her decision when it came to her family. I spoke to her friend and said maybe my wife should let bygones be bygones, and that she might be dealing with stress and is lashing out for no reason. But her friend said I overstepped and it wasn't my business to try and fix whatever issue she has with her family, and told me to back down and cancel the invite since my wife said she won't be there. But I think she's holding on to grudges and being bitter instead of settling things down with her family. Am I the a-hole? Am I the a-hole for kicking my in-laws out after they said they'll call the police on me for how I'm treating their son? I, female 33, have never been on good terms with my in-laws, but we tolerate each other and are civil. My husband, male 30, is sick right now. He was involved in an accident 2 months ago. It was bad, and we almost lost him. He's still bedridden and is very restless because of his medication. He'd end up falling out of the bed several times, resulting in more injuries. I had to lift him off the floor by myself every time, which I could no longer do because of my own health and my unborn baby's health. I'm 6 months pregnant, and my in-laws don't help at all. I ended up getting him a floor mattress that he sleeps on currently, and it's so much better. However, when my in-laws, mother-in-law, father-in-law, sister-in-law 1, sister-in-law 2, and kids, brother-in-law 1 and brother-in-law 2 and wife and kids, and also my husband's grandparents and aunts, visited, which what they do often, they don't help with anything and even bring their own food to eat without me now. After calling a terrible host just because I refused to cook for them, while also expecting me to clean up after them. They saw my husband sleeping on the floor mattress, and they lost it on me saying their son should be sleeping on his bed, not on the floor, and accused me of neglecting his health and purposely making it worse even after. I explained my reasons for getting a mattress, but they demanded I return him to the original bed, or they'll call the police on me for my mistreatment of their vulnerable and helpless son. I had an argument with them about their lack of support, and told them from now on they can't and will not be allowed to visit anymore, after they basically said they'd call the police on me and had them leave immediately. They mass blasted me online and on social media calling me out for one, mistreating their son, and backed it with pictures my sister-in-law 2's daughter took of my husband sleeping on the floor mattress without asking first, and 2 banning them from visiting to see and check
thinking
on
where
their
to
son,
go,
constantly
I
expressing
wonder
how
every
concerned they are for him.
night, swimming
That
through your
sparked
love and
rage
my sick
involvement from distant family members,
lullabies.
urging me
I
to
don't
stop what
wanna
I'm doing
say
because it's wrong
things
without
out
religion.
of pride,
I tried to
but
tell
when
them
I
how to do
think of
that.
you, I
was told
get a
they can't
kick
consider the entire family
inside.
liars since we all
Wanna
witnessed
say
the
hi
same thing, and that is
when I'm
completely
fine.
I'm now required to
Wanna
apologize
kiss
for my
you
in-laws
and
being
make it
But I
right.
just can't take it
Let
anymore
me
and how
dance
criticizing
with you
and demanding they
beneath the
are. Am I the
sky.
a-hole?
I could be the one to say goodnight. I've seen you at the party, dancing so divine. Your body on my body, it never felt so right.
Hi guys, thank you for watching. I love you guys so much. Please like and subscribe to see more great videos. See you again.